you've got this habit of thought that you have around this subject. So let's say that the rocket of desire that is shot out of you has come forth because you just went to the mailbox, you collected your mail. Among your mail are many bills. As you open them or put them off to open later, you feel uncomfortable because you know, in our analogy, that there are more bills than there is money in your bank account. And so you right now are not feeling very good. So what's happening is other experiences like this have caused you to send off many rockets of desires relative to money. In fact, we like to tell you that your future is full of all of the things that you want that are out there being held for you in vibrational escrow. They're there because you have said that you want them, and when you ask, it is always given. But you may or may not be right now a vibrational match to what you're asking for. Now, you understand this vibrational matching when you think about your radio dial. You cannot set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98 FM. You know that your tuner receiver has to be on the same frequency as the broadcasting tower. And this is the same sort of thing. This law of attraction is based upon these vibrational frequencies. So you can't have your vibrational frequency set on, I don't have enough money, and be asking for more money and match up. You're not a vibrational match to more money when you are feeling the discomfort of not having enough money. So what the art of allowing is really about is learning little by little to tweak your vibrational frequency until it matches up with your desire. And we call that, or we are beginning to call that, vibrational relativity. In other words, the vibrational relationship between what I'm focused upon right now and what I'm really wanting. Now, anytime you give your attention to anything, no matter how brief it is, as you give your attention to something, whatever it is that you're focused upon activates a vibration within you. Now, that word activation and that word focus, those are important words because that's the basis of all of this creative genius that you're about. As you give your attention to something, whether you're remembering it from the past, whether you're observing it in your now, or whether you are contemplating it or imagining it in the future, whatever you're focused upon causes an activation of a vibration within you. And as soon as that vibration is activated within you, you're going to feel the vibrational relativity between that activated vibration and who you really are and what you really want. So there are 3 steps to the creative process, and we'll be very brief about this because most of it you don't have to even do anything about. The 3 steps are these. First, you must ask. Well, that part's easy. The contrasting experience causes you to emanate, exude, radiate, ooze, constant, eternal, never-ending, always changing, evolving, amended desires. In other words, you can't turn that off. You can try, but you cannot turn that off. It is the established environment. It is the way the universe is established. The contrast is the stuff that puts the eternalness in eternity. So be glad that it's there. So contrasting experience causes you to have desires. It causes you to want or prefer. That's step 1. Don't even have to know about that. Can't help it. Step 2 is not your work. Step 2 is the work of source energy. It's the work of law of attraction. It's the work of the universe. Step 2 says, when you ask, it is given every single time, no exception. It's just the way it is. So then many of our friends say, well, something must be going very wrong in my experience because I know I've been asking, and where's my stuff? And we say, if there's a gap between what you're asking for and what you're receiving, it is because step 3 is not understood and being deliberately applied by you. And step 3 says, you must be a vibrational match to what you're asking for. So when you're asking for more money, but you're complaining about not having enough money, you're not a vibrational match. And the emotions that you feel let you know that vibrational relativity. So you are aware of your emotions, yes? Did you know that your emotions were your vibrational sensors? You know, you are vibrational beings living in this vibrational universe, and everything that you perceive is because of your ability to translate vibration. What you see with your eyes is because your eyes decipher vibration and give you sight. What you hear with your ears is because your ears decipher vibration and give you sound. Even your fingertips are deciphering vibration. Your tongue is deciphering vibration. Your smell, you are decipherers of vibration. And the most sophisticated and powerful decipherer within you is the emotional guidance system that you feel mostly in your solar plexus, which tells you the vibrational relativity between what you've got activated right now in terms of what you're focusing upon and who you really are. When you give your attention to something for a little bit, you activate the vibration of whatever it is within you. As you give your attention to it longer or more often, then that activated vibration becomes a more activated vibration. And in time, because of law of attraction's help, that activated vibration becomes what we call a dominant activated vibration. You call it a belief. In other words, a belief's just a thought you keep thinking. A belief's just an activation of something that becomes your point of attraction. So we want to help you to understand that it is very important that you make a new decision as quickly as you can that says nothing is more important than that I feel good. Because when you say nothing is more important than that I feel good, what you do is you set yourself up for more active awareness of how you feel, which sets you up for more active awareness of what you're focused upon and what you're doing vibrationally. And that's very important because what you're doing vibrationally is your point of attraction. In other words, you just can't get around it. What you're thinking and what's coming to you is always a match. What you're thinking and what you're feeling and what's coming to you is always a vibrational match. So if you become aware that what you're thinking and feeling is what's manifesting in your experience, then you become someone who decides to be a deliberate creator. You decide to think more purposefully. Now, many of our friends, when they begin to learn about deliberate creation, initially they feel very excited about it. The idea of being able to think clearly and have universal response and to create anything that you want. There is truly nothing that you cannot be or do or have. If you decide you want it and you line up with it vibrationally, it must be. It is law. But then sometimes, after people have been playing with this for a little while, they start to get a little worried because they become aware of their own thoughts. And they begin feeling the power of their own thoughts. And then we hear them saying things like, oh, cancel, cancel. They try to suck the thought back before law of attraction gets hold of it and manifest something for them. You have incredible leeway here in this physical environment. In other words, your thoughts do not manifest instantaneously. It takes a while for you to become a vibrational match to a thought and to become vibrationally aligned with that thought long enough that it activates it within you enough that it becomes your literal point of attraction. Don't you know people that no matter who they are now living with, it's the same complaints you hear from them? In other words, they went to a different place and they went to a different face, but they took themselves with them and they offered the same vibration, and so they begin to elicit the same sort of thing from person after person or job after job or place after place. You are the creator of your own experience. And the reason that you are is because you are the offerer of your vibration. When you decide that you're going to pay attention to the way you feel, you're going to choose thoughts based upon how they feel, period. Now that's a big jump for many. Some people will say to us, Abraham, shouldn't I think about this? It's true. It's historically documented. We have monuments and statues about it and documentaries that are offered, and it's in our history books. Shouldn't I think about this thing that is true? And we say, whatever you are giving your attention to, you're activating your vibration. And so it becomes your point of attraction. So we would not use the criteria of whether it's true or not. We would use the criteria of how I feel when I focus upon it as our measurement about what we give our attention to. There are a whole lot of wonderful things that are true that you could focus upon, and there are a whole lot of not so wonderful things that you're not wanting to attract into your experience. And so the art of allowing is really about understanding that you are an extension of source energy, and that source energy that is really who you are, this ongoing eternal part of you, is pure positive energy, that there is no resistance that would be discernible by you in that non-physical energy connection. And when you take the time to choose the thoughts that allow you to feel that full connection between you and you, now you are beginning to live your life in the way you've intended. Lighten up on yourselves. Give yourself a break and understand that you are pure positive energy beings, that you are eternally and always worthy, and that if things are not going well for you on any subject, it's not because you're bad. It's not because you've done something wrong. It's only because somehow, some way, you've got your vibrational tuner set to a vibration and you've practiced it long enough that law of attraction's given you more stuff like that. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to all of a sudden think a thought that's different than the thought you've been thinking. In other words, you've practiced that thought. It's become part of your vibration. But if you make a decision that nothing is more important than that I feel good, your vibrational relativity will continue to show you that you can find a thought that feels better, and then you can find another thought that feels better, and then you can find another thought that feels better. And as you find those thoughts and practice them long enough that you sort of stabilize in that better feeling place, you'll notice a big difference in your point of attraction. Your vibration is really not a mystery because everything that's happening around you matches it. So you can wait until something manifests, and then you can notice what is manifested, and then you can understand what you've been doing vibrationally. We call that post-manifestational awareness. Or you can pay attention to how you feel, and you can have awareness of what's coming. In other words, when you start really caring about how you feel and you start guiding your thoughts based upon how they feel, not based upon how true they are or the fact that it actually happened or the fact that it's actually happening in your experience right now, now you have power in your own experience. We were visiting with a woman one day who had been listening to us for a while. So she understood intellectually this idea of deliberate creation. And she said to us, Abraham, I have arthritis in my hips, and it is very painful. Painful when I stand, painful when I sit, painful when I walk, even painful when I try to get into bed. How can I be living this experience that is so big and always present? How can I offer a vibration that's different from that? What is so not what I want. How can I create something different than what is when I'm looking at what is? And we said, you can't. You have to find a way of focusing differently. You cannot look at what is and change it, because as you look at what is, the vibration of what is active within you, and that's your point of attraction. No matter what it is, if you're looking at what is causing you to offer your vibration. So he said, you have to find a way of looking beyond what is. See yourself as living two concurrent journeys. There's the action journey of what I've come to now. This is how much money I've got in my bank account, and this is the relationship I've got going with my boyfriend, and this is how my daughter treats me, and this is how my body feels. In other words, this is what is right now, this red hot minute. That's what is. And if you're looking at what is, then what is maintaining a very consistent, steady what is. In other words, what is keeps being what is, and people who know you know that that's what is in your experience. You're always late. Never have enough money, or you're always happy and everything always goes your way. In other words, what is how you've been offering vibration. That's what is. But concurrently with this action journey of what is an emotional journey running right alongside. We said to our friend who had arthritis in her hips, can you feel the difference between having arthritis in your hips and being fearful about it, and having arthritis in your hips and feeling hopeful about it? Because the difference between fear and hope, vibrationally, is the difference between arthritis subsiding or maintaining and getting worse. Because everything that's happening to you is coming to you vibrationally. Everything in your experience is about the vibration that you're offering. So, as you make a decision that it matters very much to you how you feel, then what begins to happen is, as you choose the things you think about, or you choose the people you spend time with, or you choose the memories that you contemplate, or you choose the stories that you tell, or you choose the things that you chat with your friends over lunch, you choose the things that you give your attention to, based not upon the truth or fact of them, because what is what is, but based upon the vibrational content of them, based upon how they feel. And when you start making choices based upon how they feel, now you're making different choices about your vibrational offering. And when you begin to make different vibrational choices about your vibrational offering, now your point of attraction shifts and everything in the universe begins to respond to you differently. And now things that have not been coming that you've been wanting to come flow in. Wanted things make their way to you. Unwanted things leave your experience. It's just the way that it works.